Okay, so cool. Big homie J Fifth back in the building, about to hit you again with another video. Got a special one for you guys today. I got Midwest street stories coming up. I'm about to tell you a story about the Latin King, about the Latin Counts versus the Latin Kings going at it in Indiana. So check it out. Here's the story. All right. So the feds, Latin Count gang member convicted in 2 killings. So this is in Hammond, Indiana. I believe that's northwestern Indiana, more towards going to Chicago. And so a week-long trial in U.S. District Court ended Tuesday with the conviction of a Latin Count gang member in the ambush killings of 2 people during a vigil gathering outside a home in 2015. One of the victims was a 16-year-old girl who suffered at least 1 gunshot wound to her chest as she tried to get younger children safely inside a home when gunfire erupted, according to media reports at the time of the shooting. Jurors found 34-year-old Eduardo Luciano guilty of conspiracy to participate in racketeering activity, conspiracy to possess with the intent to distribute cocaine and marijuana, and guilty of 2 counts of using a firearm to commit murder. Luciano had been a member of the Hammond faction of the Latin Count street gang, which originated out of Chicago, when he and others formulated a plan to kill members of their rivals, the Latin Kings, according to federal prosecutors. Latin Count gang members drove to the 5500 block of Beale Street in Hammond, where Latin Kings were holding a vigil. The Latin Counts members began shooting into the crowd, according to court documents. Christopher White, a 33-year-old visiting family at the time, was shot in front of the home and later died. Lauren Calvillo, 16, was shot and killed on the front porch of her family's home while trying to get inside. Court documents said. Luciano's co-defendants and fellow Latin Count members, Ivan E. Reyes, Robert Loya, and Jerron Williams, all previously pleaded guilty to various felony counts. Sorry, I got hair on my iPad. Reyes pleaded guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, and 2 counts of murder in aid of racketeering. Loya pleaded guilty to racketeering, conspiracy. Williams pleaded guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, and admitted his involvement in the killings of White and Clavillo. Federal prosecutors said in a statement all 3 will be sentenced at a later date. Luciano's sentencing has yet to be scheduled, federal prosecutors said. All right, so that is the story from the Northern District of Indiana, coming from the United States Attorney's Office. So what I found interesting about this story was that I know it is close to Chicago or whatever like that, but I didn't know that Indiana had active Latin King gangs going at it like that, and I never heard of the Latin Counts. But yeah, that's a crazy story, man. 2 people lost their lives. It looks like 2 people on the Latin King side, or a group of the Latin Kings, were holding a vigil, candlelight vigil maybe, mourning the loss of one of their loved ones. And the Latin Counts went in there and did a drill on them. And unfortunately, 2 people lost their lives. And then 3 members of the Latin Counts, I think it was 3 or was it 5? I had to look at it again. But at least 3 members got caught up in a RICO, racketeering, continuing criminal organization. And the feds rounded them up and put them boys in the box. So I think they said 3 of them already pleaded guilty. And the guy who this story was about, he just pleaded guilty too. And now he's waiting to be sentenced. So, that's crazy out there. And so I just want to make a comment on, I seen the Facebook post of the young guy he was in his cap and gown and holding a rifle and holding guns, and they talking about you can't judge a book by its cover. No, you can definitely judge a book by its cover. I mean, it's no point in going to college and trying to do something with yourself, and there's nothing wrong with having a gun, but that's not the time. Like, if you celebrate you graduating from college, worry about graduating from college. The worst and the goofiest thing you could do when you're trying to do something and improve in your life is still dibbling and dabbling in criminal stuff and stuff you don't have no business doing. You can't get involved in that type of stuff with street organizations and drugs and crime. excuse me, and things like that. You can't be playing both sides in the middle. That's how you get yourself in the gym. And so I commemorate the young man on graduating high school and whatever like that. But, you know, like you still trying to portray yourself as a thug or whatever like that. And it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to. And then they said he's a drill rapper. Like, come on, man, that's pretty goofy. And that's what I mean right there. You need to decide if you're going to be a drill rapper or go be a college graduate, because you can't do both. First of all, if you want to be a drill rapper, you know what you have to do. You have to drill. So either you were to focus on drill rapping and go drill, and either get yourself, you're going to get put in a box, but it's whether it's going to be a jail cell box or it's going to be a casket. So you need to decide which ones you want to do, because the streets is not playing out here like that. The streets is not playing at all, especially with drill rappers. That's one of the worst, deadliest occupations with little to no payback as you can. All these rappers are selling their masters. They're supposed to have so much money and be doing everything so extravagant, but every time you turn around, somebody's selling their masters. Why are you selling your masters for? Don't you want to build generational wealth and give your family something to carry on? I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But that's my story today. Latin Counts members, gang members get rounded up in a RICO charges from the feds in Hammond, Indiana. That just happened. I want to say September. It was in July 26, 2022. So yeah, don't play around about them streets. And matter of fact, I wanted to bring this up too, because this was something interesting that I noticed. Oh yeah, okay, yes. It says this case is also a part of an organized crime drug enforcement task force's investigation. OCDETF identifies, disrupts, and dismantles the highest level drug traffickers, money launderers, gangs, and transnational criminal organizations that threaten the United States by using a prosecutor-led, intelligence-driven, multi-agency approach that leverages the strengths of the federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies against criminal networks. So if you want to be dibbling out in crime, that's what type of time they on. They are definitely working together. So as many you think you gang and everything like that, man, they got something for you. They got something for you. They got all type of task force. I ain't never heard of that task force before, and they linking up together to put criminals in jail. So that's my story for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you everyone who subscribed. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Big homie J5th, gone.